Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. I am continuing the theme I started in my previous reading today, and that is the theme of homes. Harry and Meghan's homes, to be precise. And we've had a look at the mudslide mansion in Montecito. And allegedly, of course, Harry and Meghan have extended an invitation to William and Catherine to stay there during their visit to the United States in 2022, a rather threatening and bullying and intimidating invitation, in my humble opinion. And so now we're going to be looking at Frogmore Cottage, where apparently Meghan was frightened, so frightened. It was during the time, allegedly, according to Meghan and according to Omid Scobie, when she had her passport confiscated by the royal family. She wasn't allowed to go on outings and see her friends. She was living in the flight path of a very busy airport. I don't know whether she thought a plane might in fact crash land on her at Frogmore Cottage, that the royals would achieve such a thing and to bring her life to an end. And of course she was surrounded by ghosts at Frogmore Cottage, which is why I'm using the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot for this reading. What deck could be more appropriate when you're talking about ghosts, graveyards, cemeteries, mausoleums, members of the family you want to forget, and so you bury them there. Wallace Simpson, the Duke of Windsor, I think they're buried there. Not sure, but I think they are. And apparently the place is quite haunted, and not just by frogs. There are spirits that walk there. I think I'd be frightened living at Frogmore Cottage. But poor Meghan was apparently scared out of her wits living there and had to flee to Canada, to the home, the very luxurious mansion of a allegedly Russian, I want to say gangster, so I'm going to say gangster. Whatever he was, this is allegedly, rumours have it. And all, of course, tarot reading for entertainment purposes only. So everything here is alleged, of course. The lack of the passport, the lack of outings, not the flight path. It is truly in the flight path of Heathrow. And the ghosts, I think, too, are true. So let's see. We are using the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot, and 6-card reading for you today. Very scripted questions. We're going to look at how Harry and Meghan felt about Frogmore Cottage, or whether, in fact, the Queen was casting a little bit of shade there by giving them Frogmore Cottage instead of the other magnificent Frogmore House. And really the interesting question for me, did they ever really live there? And would they ever be going back? I think the answer to that one is no. I'll be very surprised if it's not. But 6-card reading, Harry and Meghan, well, Meghan in particular, frightened at Frogmore. We know she's a delicate, sensitive thing, easily terrified, very easily cowed, and lying in court would never cross her mind. Being rude on television about the royal family would never cross her mind. She is, as I say, very sensitive, and of course heartbreaking to think how she suffered there at Frogmore Cottage after the renovations, which cost many millions of pounds of public money. So let's see. I'm not going to be looking at the bottom of this deck. I am going to be looking here for the overall energy of this reading to see what there is the moon, what we need to know about this, the real heart of the matter. And there is the moon. The moon is literally the card of fear. You can't make this up. Tarot is telling me, yes, there was fear about Frogmore Cottage. Well, that is the spin that's been put out there anyway, that she's told everyone how frightened, how lonely. She was suicidal allegedly at that time. Nobody was asking how she was. It was heartbreaking. It was devastating. It was very difficult. There is the moon. And the moon is, of course, fear. It is, of course, also distrust and confusion and not seeing things clearly, things being hidden from view. A lot of obfuscation around Frogmore Cottage and the time that they spent at Frogmore Cottage, the money that they spent, were they ever there, who lived there, what went on. We never saw any signs of life. I think the only person who allegedly visited them there and lived to tell the tale was Ellen, but we all know how that went. And so the moon as the overall energy, very, very fitting from the Edgar Allan Poe tarot. I really can't say that. And so how did Meghan feel about Frogmore Cottage? How did she feel about the place? How did she feel about living there? What did she think of it? The devil in reverse. And she just wanted to get away from it. And it's a rather ghastly there. You know, it does look mausoleumish. And hideous card. Somebody who's been bricked up. And that's the mausoleum. I think she really was spooked by this. She really was frightened. It gives me an interesting insight into her personality, that she could be so easily frightened by something like this. Something slightly occult, something slightly sinister and spooky, where there are allegedly ghosts and things, that she doesn't have enough of her own inner confidence and character to be able to deal with this challenge. Wanted to get away from the toxic energy, from the devil energy that she felt there. She hated it. She absolutely hated Frogmore Cottage. Not only because it was insulting in her mind, that she got the very ramshackle, odd-looking, cottage is the wrong word, but a jumble of a house. It really doesn't look like anything. It doesn't have a good facade. And compared with Frogmore House, beautiful, absolutely marvellous place, Frogmore House. So yeah, she hated it with a blinding passion. She hated it and just wanted to run away from it, get away from it. How did Harry feel about Frogmore Cottage? And we get the Queen of Cups in reverse. Very miserable. He was very unhappy there. And there literally is a mausoleum in the background. And someone sorrowing, weeping, wailing. There is the moon. There is the water. We don't see frogs, but no doubt they're there somewhere. Very unhappy. Meghan obviously sobbed into her pillow night after night, as Harry said, not wanting to wake him up and tell him that she wanted to kill herself, allegedly, sobbing into the pillow. Of course, Mummy, always the Queen of Cups, and feeling very depressed, very miserable about Mummy, very miserable about Meghan. It was not a happy place at all. So I'm getting the giggles. I'm trying not to laugh at their misfortune. So the card next, I think is quite appropriate. This fourth card, was the Queen up to mischief with this? Send them to Frogmore Cottage. Well, she was certainly getting rid of a problem. Send them away. The Six of Swords. Send them off. And they had allegedly caused terrible trouble at Kensington Palace. Great upset for William and Catherine. And we know that there were very serious allegations of bullying going on, possibly even financial mismanagement. That's rumoured as well, with the Heads Together Foundation, the Royal Foundation, all of that. They were causing untold trouble and they had to be got rid of. So this was the solution. I know what, to send them away. I can imagine, because it's swords, sending them off in that little boat across the lake, across the stormy lake, this very stormy lake here. You almost expect to see an arm rising from the waters clutching Excalibur, but send them away. I'm sure that the driving force behind this idea was the now unfortunately deceased Prince Philip. And I'm sure that there was lots of hilarity over the breakfast cornflakes when this was discussed. I know what, let's get rid of them. Send them to that awful place. And possibly they went thinking that they were getting the one place and got the other, a bit like that Bible story of thinking you were getting the one bride and you got the other. I get the feeling that that kind of trick was pulled on them. Harry, of course, a bit dim, wouldn't realise the difference between Frogmore Cottage and Frogmore House. And so the chagrin when they got there and saw what their fate held in store for them. And what a pity that Netflix camera crew wasn't following them around then when it happened. That is a documentary that I would watch. And next question. Did they ever really live there? Of course, there was conversation on social media, rumour, allegation that they were living at Soho House, that they'd separated, that Meghan was couch surfing, she was living with Omid Scobie, all kinds of allegations, all kinds of rumours. Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, although you can't tell from this depiction of it, is the card of rejection, of saying no. Thanks, but no thanks. I turn the cup away that's offered to me. I say no. And so, knowing what I know about the Four of Cups, I am inclined to say no, they rejected the offer, that there was a lot of subterfuge, obfuscation. The Moon card is there telling me that there was a pretense that they lived there was a pretense that they did it up, that they spent this enormous sum of money on copper baths and floating floors and yoga studios and space for Doria and all the rest of it. What else? There was vegan paint in the nursery for baby Archie, the mysterious baby Archie. And absolutely, we know now the tone of the articles that Meghan's PR sends out, the level of absurdity in the beginning, because most of us weren't used to narcissists and the way they can spin things. It was all quite astounding, and we all didn't know whether to believe it or not. Now, or not is the more likely outcome. But this card and the way it's depicted, it does look like there were people ensconced in a place. One lying on a couch, one sitting on a chair. Obviously sort of a therapy situation going on there, or somebody reminiscing about something. But possibly, and again I'm going to laugh, and I shouldn't laugh because it is a bit sad, that possibly it was so awful that this person had to go to therapy about it. This unhappy boy had to go into therapy about it. Of course, Meghan is the one who alleges that she was suicidal, but I don't think she knows the meaning of the word, quite honestly. And all my opinion, of course, it does look like somebody was driven into despair by this prospect of living there. And so the final card that I have for this reading is, will either of them ever go back to Frogmore Cottage and put their head on a pillow there, spend a night? And this is the Eight of Wands in reverse. Eight of Wands, you can see it in the upright, the birds flying over those candles, out that window, a bit creepy, a bit spooky, but it's in reverse. Eight of Wands is about swift movement, it is about communication. It's a no. It's a no, not going back there, not, it's blocked, it's not going to unblock. It really is a card of unblocking a situation, sudden release and movement after a stagnant period. And in the reverse, no, there isn't movement forward. The channel stays blocked. They won't be going back. They won't be going back to that haunted house. That was the place of so much sorrow for them. And it does really look as if, whether they lived there or not, I tend towards or not, it really was a source of great unhappiness for them. And really, if they could only get some perspective, they might see that they are the cause of their own downfall. And one day, maybe, but right now, not at all. No perspective, no insight, no self-awareness, just woe is us. Why is life so cruel? Why is everybody so horrible to us, so mean to us, so nasty to us? That is the tone of this reading. So I'm going to go and wash my hands of it now, shake this energy off, horrible energy. And thank you for watching. And I will see you on the next reading, hopefully.